Commanders Nation, all eyes in Ashburn are locked on two storylines heating up. Terry McLaurin just made a move that completely changed the vibe at training camp, and Jayden Daniels is proving he's not just a franchise QB because of his talent, but also because of his leadership. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's break down everything that went down during Burgundy versus Gold and beyond. Terry McLaurin has been a rare sight on the field during training camp, officially due to an ankle injury that placed him on the PUP list. But for many fans, this feels more like a hold-in until his contract extension gets done. Up until now, the pattern was the same: McLaurin signing autographs, interacting with fans, but staying away from the action. That all changed during Tuesday's Burgundy versus Gold scrimmage. The Commanders' WR1 was on the sidelines with his teammates, and more importantly, he was spotted having a brief conversation with GM Adam Peters. Just a few seconds of interaction were enough to set social media on fire. For casual observers, it might have seemed like nothing. But for those following closely, this was a big shift. Up to this point, the McLaurin-Peters dynamic seemed distant. This public conversation suggested the relationship might not be as strained as some feared. Fans instantly felt a spark of hope that a deal could be closer than expected. It's no guarantee, but it's proof the two sides are still talking. Literally. In truly tense situations, both parties usually avoid each other entirely. So what's the holdup? Finding the middle ground. McLaurin wants long-term security. Peters wants to maintain flexibility to keep building a long-term contender. Everyone knows keeping McLaurin is a priority, but the when remains the question. Until then, every small positive between the two becomes fuel for fan optimism. While McLaurin's contract saga plays out, Jayden Daniels is busy taking his game and his leadership to the next level. After taking Washington from a 4-win season to the NFC Championship game as a rookie, he's becoming a vocal leader, something Dan Quinn highlighted as his biggest offseason leap. Quinn summed it up: Daniels isn't just executing now, he's developing the players around him. That comes with street cred, earned by performance, and the trust of his teammates. This new vocal approach has already strengthened his connection with veterans like Deebo Samuel. It's also been vital in keeping the offense on the same page despite injuries and rotation on the offensive line and wide receiver group. The ability to diagnose a play pre-snap and instantly communicate adjustments is what separates good quarterbacks from great ones. That skill is even more valuable when your offensive line is constantly shifting. While some talk about a potential sophomore slump, the more likely scenario in Ashburn is Daniels taking the team to another level and putting himself in the conversation as a top 5 quarterback in the league. Sam Cosmi's recovery from a torn ACL remains the biggest headline in the trenches. The starting right guard is ahead of schedule, but it's still unclear whether he'll be ready for Week 1. Across the line, newly converted guard Brandon Coleman is dealing with a lower body injury that has already sidelined him during valuable preseason reps. The good news? Washington's front office prepared for this exact scenario. Veterans Nick Allegretti and Andrew Wiley are more than capable fill-ins at guard. They might not have the same upside as Cosmi or Coleman, but they can hold the line in the short term. Depth at guard isn't the problem. The real problem lies at center. When free agent signing Nate Herbig unexpectedly retired earlier this summer, it created a hole that's still unfilled. If starting center Tyler Biadasz stays healthy, the Commanders should be fine. But if he misses time, and he did miss games in 2024 while also playing below his usual standard in others, the drop-off could be steep. Against the New England Patriots in the preseason opener, Washington rotated between Michael Dieter and developmental project Julian Good-Jones at center. Neither player was a disaster, but neither inspired much confidence either. Both held their ground in pass protection, yet failed to generate consistent push in the run game, a troubling sign for an offense that wants to lean on the ground attack. Dieter looked more steady than Good-Jones, but his ceiling is limited. Facing elite NFC East interior defenders like Jalen Carter or Dexter Lawrence II could expose him quickly. The waiver wire could hold the answer GM. Adam Peters should already be scanning the waiver wire for reinforcements. Cap-related roster cuts always produce a few hidden gems, and Washington has the flexibility to pounce. Potential targets include Ryan Bates, Bears. Versatile enough to play guard and center, could be released if Chicago trims salary. Doug Kramer, Bears. Likely cut if Bates sticks. Another capable interior option. Brett Toth, Eagles. Journeyman fighting for a roster spot in Philadelphia. Jacob Bayer, Bills. Depth chart squeeze candidate in Buffalo. Clay Webb, Broncos. Former dominant high school center who's been playing guard, could be a developmental swing with upside. For a team with playoff aspirations, leaving the backup center role as an afterthought would be a mistake. Washington has learned that lesson the hard way before, cycling through multiple starters after Chase Roulier's injuries in 2021 and 2022. Commanders' rival hit by sudden preseason storm, while Washington works to solidify its interior line. Its biggest NFC East obstacle is dealing with issues of its own. The Philadelphia Eagles, who steamrolled their way to the Super Bowl last season, have experienced rare turbulence in the trenches. Pro Bowl guard Landon Dickerson was carted off with a meniscus injury that will require a minor procedure. He's listed as week-to-week, but any missed time early in the season could disrupt the chemistry of one of the NFL's best units. Adding to the uncertainty, newly acquired lineman Kenyon Green is also week-to-week with a shoulder injury, ending his preseason before it truly began. And with Mekhi Becton now a Los Angeles Charger, Philadelphia's interior depth isn't quite as ironclad as in previous years. Commanders fans, here are your two clear signs heading into 2025. McLaurin and Peters are talking, and Daniels is taking charge. Which storyline gives you more confidence for the season? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and stay tuned. Here at Commanders HQ, we're tracking every conversation, every play, and every snap on. The road to Week 1.